The fact that you care so much about what other people are thinking about you is the very thing that is holding you back from your true potential and blocking you from actually becoming a content creator. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Jessica. I'm here to help you overcome the fear of judgment so that you can start creating content and finally post that content. Even though in the beginning you may not feel 100% ready, you may feel a little bit scared, that is okay. My job is to get you to get that content posted anyway. Have you ever been in this situation before? You film a video, you edit it if it needs editing, you watch the video, you're like, you know what, I like it. I'm actually happy about this video. Then all of a sudden you find some random reason why you shouldn't post this video. Some thoughts may come into your head, you're like, you know what, this video can't see the light of day, and there's another video in your drafts, and now your drafts are just full of content that is never getting posted. Today we're going to get into why that actually happens, but I wanted to get past the surface level of I care what people think about me, okay? Like, yes, most of us do, that is fine, but I want us to understand what is happening to our brain when this is happening about you caring about other people's opinion of you. But most importantly, I want us to learn how to detach from this so that it doesn't control us and take over our content creation career that we want. We're going to start off a little bit sciencey, but it's so important to know what is happening to your brain once you care so much about other people's opinion of you and you don't know how to detach from it. Caring about what other people think about you is not a mindset problem. It starts in the body. So your brain cannot tell the difference between social rejection and physical danger, okay? Your brain is wired for survival. It's not wired for social media. Your brain is not wired for TikTok. That is not how it works. Your nervous system activates or reacts the same way when you think about how people are going to judge your content versus you being in actual danger, okay? So you're gonna start to get sweaty, your palms are gonna start to get sweaty, you're gonna have all these anxious thoughts, your heart may start racing. I've said this before, but when I first started posting content, I would start sweating and I would throw my phone right after pressing post. I couldn't deal with it, but that's only because, yes, my nervous system was reacting in that way. I was still, obviously in the beginning, trying to get over the fear of judgment, trying to overcome it. So I cared so much about other people's opinion of me that my nervous system was reacting in that way. I was anxious, I was scared, and my brain could not tell the difference between I'm posting this on Instagram Reel versus I'm in danger. It's a threat. Even before you actually, press that post button, press that upload button, when you're thinking or anticipating that people are gonna judge you, whatever they may say and or comment about you and your video, the part in your brain, your amygdala, so your threat center, your fear center, it's going to light up. The thing about your brain is that it doesn't neatly place things into different categories. So a lion chasing after you versus somebody thinking your TikTok is cringe, your brain sees it as the same way. A threat is a threat is a threat is a threat. Fear is fear is fear is fear. So if you are even thinking about posting content and you have all these physical feelings already, you start to get anxious, you start to get sweaty, you're like, wow, I haven't even posted anything. Just know that this is not a weakness. This is just how our brains are wired. But it doesn't mean that you have to let that control you. We'll get more into that later on into the video, how to detach from those feelings. When you're talking to somebody about, living with the fear of judgment, you caring about what people may say or think about you online, and they're just like, who cares? Just post. It's not that serious. Just post anyway. It actually is that serious, okay? Because I know from personal experience how debilitating, how paralyzing living with the fear of judgment is. And it's one of those fears that a lot of people, you won't understand it until you've actually experienced it, until you actually have lived with it. Because there are millions of people in this world living with the fear of judgment who want to become content creators, but unfortunately will never get there because that fear has just paralyze them. It has debilitated them so much that what they truly want to do, which is create content, post online, share parts of their life online, whatever it is, even yes, we talk about content creation, but even if you do art, if you do music, there's oh my gosh, what is that quote? I'm going to butcher it, but I'm going to put it on the screen, the real thing. Basically something along the lines of there are so many wonderful books, wonderful art, music, all these great things that are living 6 feet under with people because they never got their chance to actually put their stuff out there. I'm saying definitely a very easy version of it, but let me actually get the quote. Why not? Why not? The graveyard is the richest place on earth because that's where you'll find the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, all because someone was too afraid to take that first step. This is by Les Brown. This quote, I think about it, I don't know when I first found out about it, but I think about it probably truthfully on maybe on a quarterly basis, because it is so true. When I really think about the fear of judgment, yes, this is not specifically talking about the fear of judgment, but still it is talking about people not being able to take that first step, and whatever it is that is and or I guess they're 6 feet under, that was blocking them from actually doing it. It is so sad when you think about it. There are so many beautiful creations, I will say, that will never see the light of day just because people are so scared to take that first step. So yes, the fear of judgment is that serious, but you guys are looking at literally living proof of someone who lived with it for years and years and years and years and finally overcame it. And now I'm doing the thing that I truly want to do. And I have been for over like 6 years now, 5-6 years. The mini science lesson is now over. We're going to get into some more practical chats. So let's get into the specific fears that's actually hiding underneath you caring about other people's opinion of you. So the first fear, and I would say this is probably the most popular fear, is that you care about people from your life seeing your content. It's not about the strangers. It's not about the strangers online. It's about your family members, your friends, co-workers, people who you go to school with. Those are the people that you actually care about seeing your content. You don't want them to think, oh, you're cringe. You don't want them to see you at the beginning stages when you have literally a handful, five followers. You don't want them to see those beginning stages of you actually trying. And the thing is, we know, you and I both know this to be true, because if I told you to post the content that you want to post on a private account, you would do that. But obviously we know private account and being a content creator, it doesn't really coincide. It kind of honestly contradicts each other, because obviously if you want to be a content creator, you want to have a public account, you want to post your content, put yourself out there. If you have a private account, I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's different. We both know that. That is just what it is. So that's the first thing. You care about people from your life actually seeing your content. The second specific fear that may be hiding underneath you caring about other people's opinion of you is the fact that you putting yourself out there, you creating content, may be looked at or may be viewed as wanting attention. And this is like it's not an iffy one, because I'm from Toronto, right? So this is like a big city. There's a lot of content creators here, people, creating content all the time. It's not, I don't want to say it's not frowned upon. It's like a normal, regular thing, right? But I get it, because I talk to a lot of people. And if you're from a smaller town, if you're from somewhere that, people don't create content at all, you can't really go outside and have your phone and your camera. It's not that you can't. It's just not common, to have your phone and your camera out in your hand. People may look at you like, who is that person? They're seeking attention. They want attention. It's like, sorry, I want to create content. Sorry, I want to post online, Some people have a sheltered mindset. If you grew up in a way that you're meant to stay small, meant to stay hidden, meant to not be seen, you doing something outside the box of, your town, your city, whatever, your state, it could be something that's like, wow, this person's wanting attention, and that may make you feel embarrassed, and that may result in you having those thoughts of, I care about other people's opinion of me. And I know some people are in this category, because obviously not everybody's from Toronto, not everybody's from New York, not everybody's from Los Angeles, where, content creation is just, it comes by a little bit easier. But I want you to know that it is not fair for you to dim your light and put yourself down, your dreams down, because other people around you think that you think too highly of yourself, that you want to put yourself out there. Why is this person doing something that, is not normal, is not common? Some people like to do things outside the box. Some people don't want to stay in their comfort zone for the rest of their lives. Right? We don't want to do the regular, the normal. If you truly have that desire to be a content creator and you want to post online, you want to start putting yourself out there, you owe it to yourself to do that. And to also not let you being from a small town where other people have sheltered minds and content creation is not normal there, that's fine. That is where you're from. Your environment is your environment. But if you have this dream, you have this desire, you have this drive, you owe it to yourself to do that, to post that content anyway. The next fear, which we kind of touched upon in the last video, which was about the fear of judgment versus the fear of failure, is that you don't want to be seen being bad at something publicly. So starting from zero, because when you make a new account, 0 followers, that is where you're starting from. You don't want people to see you failing online. And I've said this before, failing, that's not in our vocabulary, okay? Failing only happens when you give up. So trying to figure things out in the beginning, trying to figure out social media, trying to figure out your voice, trying to figure out everything, how you deliver content, all your things, your editing, basically all the things that make you as a content creator. Because As you know, there are millions of not millions, maybe. There's tons of beauty creators, there's tons of lifestyle creators, there's tons of even people who create car content, okay? But all of them are different in their own way, and they all have their specific and their own audiences for them, for who they are. Yes, it's about the content, but it's also about the personality and the personal twist that you add on the content itself that makes people want to see you, that want to see your content. There is a learning curve once you start posting on social media, and it's really not just content creation, it's not social media. It's honestly like any job you have a probationary period. I'm not saying that you guys are going to get fired off of social media. No one's getting canceled. But you know, you have that first few months where you're trying to figure things out. For example, I used to work at Starbucks like almost a decade ago. Whatever. It was a long time ago. I did not know how to make a caramel macchiato my first day, probably even my first week. It probably took me a couple of weeks to learn how to make all these drinks. And people customizing, you guys customizing all your drinks? Another topic for another day. But anyways, all these drinks and stuff, right? All the ingredients, all the instructions, I'm learning that as you go. And it's the same with social media. You're learning as you go. You have that learning curve. You're figuring things out. And yes, this could be a big fear that people have because, again, you doing things on a public scale, that is for all eyes to see. Once again, yes, you can create a social media account online, make it private, you know, fix and tweak stuff as you go, but the feedback, you're not getting that. And you kind of want that and need that if you want to be a content creator, have an audience, and not just an audience, also have your community. They will give you that feedback that you need over time. The last specific fear that you may have, which is hiding underneath caring about what other people think, is the fact that honestly, once you start creating content, you may start changing a bit. And it's not even the fact that you're changing, it's the fact that people are noticing that change. The thing is that people may know you as one way, or they may see one version of you, but when you come online, it's not that you show a different version of you. Let's get that right. We're not being fake, but I said this in a couple of videos ago. Your confidence starts rising. You know, you start getting more confident once you're able to actually talk to the camera and, you know, deliver the content the way that you want to. And other people may start noticing this, and you honestly may get these comments in real life being like, wow, I didn't know that you create content. Oh, I saw your content online. I didn't know that you're able to do this, which is kind of shady, honestly. That is backhanded. But it's the truth, okay? People may not know that you have this in you. I'm more on the shy side. I'm definitely more introverted just because it's easy for me to pick up my camera and start filming content on all these different platforms. It doesn't mean that I want to be center of attention. I know that's not the same for everyone. Some people are extroverted, so it's easy for them to be center of attention. But in the real world, I literally do not want all eyes on me. That's just not me at all. So in the past, I've had these comments brought up to me, and honestly, even in my current day now, that, wow, I'm so, you know, quiet and shy and whatever in real life, but online, I can just, I'm yapping. I'm a yapper. I have a lot to say. And I get that this may be a fear because if people know you in one way, in one light, and online, it's like, it's not even that you're in different light. Actually, it all just came to me right now. You actually are your true self. Some of the people are really their true self when the camera is on because that is just who they are. They're fully expressing themselves. Sometimes your environment, yes, it could hinder you, right? Like I was saying, if you're from a small town and content creation is not normal there, but once you have your camera, your lights, and your action, you're ready to just be the real you. Something I had to learn very early on with content creation is that I am not the main character of anybody's life, okay? So I know that because we are posting online, because we're posting content, we're posting it literally to the world, we may think that the things that we think about ourselves, other people are thinking about us. And that is not true. We're not the main character in other people's life. When was the last time you saw a piece of content online, the person was a little bit awkward, whatever. You can even say they were a little bit cringe. It is what it is. Like we all, you know, have feelings and thoughts. But when was the last time you actually spent time, literally time thinking about it? You see this content, you're like, oh, okay, that's weird. You scroll and you move on. I feel like this happens all the time. Like I will see a video and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, But that whole process is literally 3 seconds, and then I'm scrolling to the next video. I forget that that video even existed. I forget that I even watched that video, okay? So we need to remember that all these things that we are maybe judging ourselves about, it doesn't mean that other people have that same opinion about us, okay? Especially nowadays in this day and age with social media, Everybody cares about themselves so much that nobody has time to think about you the same way that you're thinking about yourself. I don't know the average amount of videos that people are watching on a daily basis. I'll probably put it on the screen right now once I do a little bit of research, but it must be a high number, right? So what, and I don't mean this in a rude way again, what do you think that makes your video so special that somebody's gonna take the next 24 hours to think specifically about your video, about the way you're talking, about the angle? It doesn't, it's not, no, I don't even have words to like back that up. Just no. People who are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, whatever, we're watching so many videos every day that, I'm sorry, yours, yeah, you may grab someone's attention, and hopefully that is the case, that you grab someone's attention and they actually listen to your video. But I'm talking about those people who are thinking that other people are viewing your video as cringe and they're just sitting there and they're just analyzing it. That's just not what's happening. In the beginning of my content creation days, I would pick apart all my videos. Even after I press post, I'd pick them apart for days. I'm like, people are definitely judging me. People are definitely cringing at me. Oh my gosh. But the truth is, people have been watching those videos and they just moved on. They watched it and they forgot about it 5 seconds later. And maybe, yeah, because I was giving value about nutrition and stuff, they may, you know, remember something valuable and that's it. But no one is looking at your video cringing and being like, why am I making that face? Whatever. No one's cringing at your videos for days upon days on end. No. Last but not least, let's get into the area, the section that some of you guys, that's probably what you're here for, honestly. What detachment actually looks like. Detachment is really about specifically learning to separate, okay, people's thoughts and opinions of you from your self-worth, because many people have these two things tangled. And once you have these two things tangled, it is hard for you to move forward, and it's hard for you to not allow other people's opinion of you make it seem like it's true. Make it seem like everything they are saying is the truth about you. If somebody is telling you that your content is cringe, that your voice is cringe, and you're taking that opinion as fact, this is exactly where the problem begins. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, tough skin is needed in social media. It's not something you come in social media with, you know, it's a muscle that you work on over time. It gets stronger over time, because at the end of the day, once again, we cannot pretend that people don't have opinions of us. And when people leave bad comments, hurtful comments, rude comments, their opinions, whatever it is, I get it, sometimes it can be hurtful. Again, we're human, we have emotions, we have feelings. It's real, okay? It is what it is. But truly, it's not even about the comment itself, but it's about what you make that comment mean about you. Someone's thoughts, opinions, feelings, comments, whatever it is, about how they feel about you should stay as that. That's their opinion, and that's fine. Again, people are able and are allowed to have their own opinions. Other people's thoughts, comments, and opinions of you may start this process, and sometimes I call it like a spiral process, where you start thinking, oh my God, are they right? Am I cringe? I'm gonna start changing my content. Rebrand, the third rebrand of the month. You start doing all these different things, right? And as I said, if you don't have this muscle of tough skin strengthened, if you're not working on it at all, you can end up going through this spiral process literally all day. That's why you're thinking of this one specific comment all day. That's why that's all that's in your mind all day. That is why we hear so many times that I got 50, 70, 100, even 4 positive comments, but that one negative comment, that is all I can think about. Other people's opinion of you has nothing to do with who you are, okay? It is their perception. So their point of view comes from their values, their beliefs, what their triggers are, right? How they intake information. On the flip side, it has nothing to do with your worth, what you're capable of, your intelligence, your potential. It has nothing to do with that. I used to literally cling onto people's thoughts and perceptions of me. I cared about it so much, but at the end of the day, it becomes tiring. It's like, I can't take every person's opinion of me, and you can't mold yourself into every person's opinion. You can't please everyone. That's just not how it works. You know, some people, I know we all know that one person who, whenever they get into a relationship or whenever they're in a different friend group, they just continuously mold themselves into being someone else. And it's like, that's tiring. I know it is tiring. And it's the same with social media and content creation. People are going to have their opinions, but you cannot mold yourself into pleasing every single person's opinion of you. Truly, the best version you can be online is the most authentic version of yourself. There is a difference between aspiring content creators, people who are just beginning to post content online, and I would say seasoned content creators, right? The longer that you're in the social media game, the shorter the spiral process will get, where you start thinking about, wow, am I cringe? Are they right? All these things. First, it might actually ruin your day. It did to me many times. And then it might ruin your hour, and then it becomes a passing thought. And this is just what happens. As I said, that muscle starts to strengthen and your tough skin begins to grow. That is just the journey of growth. And I can't and I won't come here and tell you that there's going to come a point where you're just never going to care about people's opinion of you. I can't say that, because I don't believe that is true. But what is true is that you can and will get to that point where you can start detaching people's opinion of you from your self-worth. And again, once you realize that those are two different things, what they say doesn't and shouldn't mean anything about you, that is when you know that you can start to detach. That's really the secret. That's the secret of it all, guys. Detaching their opinions of you from who you are and who you know that you are. If there is one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's the fact that people's opinion of you don't determine your self-worth. That's the most important thing that I want you to take from this. In the beginning of this video, I started off by saying that caring about other people's opinion of you is not a mindset problem, and we're gonna end it off in the same way, okay? Detachment is not something you can think your way out of. It really happens through the doing, through the creating content, through the posting, through the getting feedback. And as that is happening, you are not allowing it to mean something about who you are, and repeat. That's it, guys. That is literally it. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Hope you got so much value. I hope it has helped you if you, whatever stage you are in creating content, if you're in the beginning, pre-stages, seasoned content creator, just knowing that you can detach, from the opinions, from the thoughts, from the comments, and not make it mean something about you. That's literally the most important part of it all. I feel like I just repeated myself 4 times in a row, but gotta get the message in. Repetition is key. Next week, we're gonna get into something that creators from all categories, okay, deal with. People who have not posted content, people who are starting to beginning, great. People who are starting to post content, people who have been posting content for a long time, and it is the comparison trap. More specifically though, we're gonna get into how consuming other people's content may be stopping you from creating your own, from being consistent, from blocking your blessings, as they would say. So tune in to next week. We're gonna get into that. Thank you guys so much once again. Get that content posted anyways, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.